All right, I'm going to continue on with the western leg of the old Roman Empire and what the Pope had to say about looking for a global economic figure. In the book of Daniel, chapter 2, verses 41 through 43, we see that this kingdom, this revived Roman Empire, is not going to hold together. It says, "And whereas thou sawest the feet and the toes, part of pottery's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it the strength of iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with murry clay. And as the toes and the feet were part iron and part clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken." All right? So there's a reference to be partly broken. "And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with murry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay." So we know that from the scriptures that we should be looking for this revived Roman Empire not to hold up, not to cleave together. And this is essentially what we're seeing. And here's another article that talks about the unknown territory for Europe if the summit fails. France. This is the headline to the MSN News. And so it says, "We are living in crucial times. If the summit is a failure, this could tip the European continent into unknown territory." The sources from the ruling MUP party quoted the Prime Minister as saying that during the meeting, the pressure does not stop growing on the Eurozone and the whole of the global economy. You know, this is essentially what the Pope was pointing to in my first video when he said they're looking for this new economic figure. So, says the sources quoted him as saying, "It is undeniable that the forecast of the global economic growth are undergoing brutal failures." Now, I've been warning that in the last days, you're going to see this global economy collapse. And when it does, obviously this new global figure will arise. And this is the same one that Jesus is talking to about in Revelation chapter 13, verses 16 through 17, who will control everything, what you buy and what you sell. That is, if you're here during the tribulation period. The church will be gone. Now, let me go on. It says, "If the results of the European summit are positive, the pessimism on the growth rates will abate," he said. "An argument must be found with Germany," he said. He also denounced press reports that Paris was following Berlin's lead in dealing with the Eurozone crisis, saying, "I remind you that the incentives to deal with the crisis are French." His remarks, which were confirmed by the sources of Fallon's office, came to European leaders scrambled Tuesday to convince banks to take massive losses on Greece's debt. See, Greece had one bailout. They're trying to bail out them again. Now Italy's in problems. So you see that the European Union, these western legs of the old Roman Empire, are falling apart. Little more than 24 hours before EU leaders gathered for the second summit in 3 days, calls came from afar as Japan and Australia for Europe to seal a lasting defense against its debt crisis, and markets slid in cautious trade head for the crunch talks. So there is no question in my mind that we are seeing what was told by God to Daniel in Daniel chapter 2 about being partly strong and partly broken. So we need to keep our eyes on what is happening in the European Union, because I believe that the European Union is going to take a fall, and we're seeing the process of this fall taking place right now.